Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new or if you're not, my name is Natalie, and today I am celebrating Galentine's Day with Sophia. She invited me to do this little Galentine's Day thing, so I'm all dressed up and wearing new jewelry. Discount code in my description box, guys. That's actually really exciting because I've been trying to find Valentine's jewelry specifically for this event or this occasion, and I finally found some from Every Jewels. So I have a discount code for you guys down below in the description box. I also did a haul video. If you guys haven't seen that yet, you should definitely check that out. I'll leave it up in the little info card thing up there. But yeah, let's get started because I gotta get ready soon because she's coming to pick me up in a short little while. So yeah, to get started, guys, I'm obviously doing a Galentine's Day with my friends, but also I am in a relationship. If you guys didn't know, I have a boyfriend. I am gray romantic with no preference in sex, so if I fall in love, then that's it. It's bam, boom, you know. And essentially what it is it's on the aromantic scale, where I have the ability to fall in love, but I don't have the ability to get crushes on people. When I do fall in love, I fall really hard. And so for me, that could be with a male or a female or non-binary person. It really doesn't matter. I have the ability to fall in love with anyone, but I don't normally have crushes on people. I just fall in love. And when I met my boyfriend, I literally just fell in love instantly, and as a result, now we've been dating for about 2.5 years approximately. I'm so happy to have him as my Valentine every year since I've met him, and I will continue to be happy that he is my Valentine for a really long time, because honestly, I have never been in love the way that I have been in love with him. I have been in love once before I met him, but it wasn't really a great story, which I will share. But yeah, I wanted to preface by stating that also I am not asexual, I'm just aromantic, so I still have sexual feelings for people and attraction sexually to people, but not romantically. So those are very separate for me. And as a result, before I met my boyfriend, I did experiment sexually, both male and female and non-binary. But yeah, these are stories that relate to that period of time in my life before I got into a relationship with my boyfriend, who I am loving towards and very loyal to. I would never ever cheat on him or do anything of that sort, so just keep in mind that this was a different phase of my life, and I don't think there's anything wrong with experimenting sexually just to see what it is that you like or your needs or etc. That you won't know what you like until you try. And for the longest time I thought that I was asexual and aromantic, but the case didn't turn out to be so. Just keep in mind that this is my experience, it's not the experience of other people. I can't say anything for the other party that I am talking about, and this is just for fun. But yeah, I just wanted to preface by saying that. Okay, where should I start? I guess we could start with my first ex-boyfriend. So my first ex-boyfriend, I met him in high school, and he was this really nice boy that lots of people knew and lots of people really liked, both personality wise, intellect wise, emotionally, etc. Everybody really liked him. He was physically attractive to a lot of people, but for me, I never really found myself super attracted to him when I first met him. I didn't feel sexually attracted or emotionally attracted or anything, which, no, it's not me being petty, I'm being serious. I genuinely didn't feel anything for him until later. We had a couple classes together, and I remember he reached out to me and told me that he actually really liked me. And I told him that I didn't identify as straight and I didn't identify as someone who only gets in relationships with men, and also that I identify as aromantic, so I normally don't get feelings for people. And after us talking for a little while and him telling me that he understood how I felt and he understood all of that, he just wanted to hang out, maybe be friends instead, because he really liked my company and our conversations. So instead we, maintained our friendship. And with time, I found myself actually feeling weird feelings about him, but I wasn't sure I understood what those feelings were because I had never had a crush before. I had never really liked anyone before. After spending time with him and talking to him a whole bunch and working on school projects with him, I find myself feeling weird, random, butterfly feelings in my stomach and not being able to explain why I'd be thinking about him all the time and stuff like that. I didn't understand the feeling. And so I asked my friends at the time. I had one friend that I treasure most, and we were best friends, and I would ask them about literally every question that I had about like sexuality or about liking people or about their own experiences, and they would talk to me and ask me questions about people because I was really good at understanding and reading people and observing people. So I came to them and I asked them, like, can you maybe like try to put into words and connotate to me like exactly what feeling like you're in love feels like, because my friend had been in love and was in a really happy relationship at the time, and honestly, they had no answer. They said that they couldn't explain it to me because it's really just a feeling and you just know. I didn't understand that, so I kept asking questions and kept trying to figure out a way to put words and meaning and scientific backing behind the feeling of love, and I just couldn't find an answer. No matter where I looked, no matter what person I turned to or who I asked, like even on the internet there's no specific feeling or explanation of what it feels like, so I wasn't sure. I soon learned and came to the conclusion that I actually was in love with this person.
Editing Nat here. We've already seen each other. You already know that I'm here. There will be more notes later that I'll talk about this specific ex in a little bit, but I just wanted to say to myself, because obviously I was in a rush, I couldn't explain everything at once, but honestly I think like I didn't feel anything at first. As I said before, this boy was trash, like boo, tomato, 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 sir. And somehow I ended up falling in love with this little tiny bitch because I spent too much time with him. Girlies, you know what it's like. I think like most of us have been in a relationship where we spend a lot of time with a person and we grow fond of them, we fall in love with them. And maybe some of you guys don't fall in love, maybe you guys just have intimate feelings for this person, but because you spend so much time, it leads to those emotions. As your friendly neighborhood psychology major, let me tell you what this is called. This is called a proximity crush. Essentially what this is that you spend so much time with a person and they're in your proximity for so long that you end up gaining these sort of intimate feelings for a person, whether it's love or a crush or anything of that sort. For example, there are a lot of girls, at least from that I know, who have been intimate with people sexually only but not romantically and ended up catching feelings, and you wonder, why is this happening? Well, it's because you're spending a lot of time with this person and you form this sort of familiarity and bond with this person, so as a result you feel a sort of sense of attachment to them, and it's known as a proximity crush because you're obtaining this sort of crush or feeling of emotions for this person because you're spending so much time with them, and it makes sense. Like, you're just trying to seek comfort and familiarity, and if you're on a certain level with this person, very, very close, you're intimate in terms of physically, emotionally, mentally, in any way. For example, for me, I was working a lot of projects with him, so we were intellectually very close to each other. We talked about a lot of things emotionally as well because he wanted to be my friend. And as a result, I ended up falling in love with him, even though he's a tiny little bitch. And so at the time, being someone who has never been in love before, falling in love with someone who purposely told me that they liked me and then ended up telling me, oh, I understand that you wouldn't like me back, like we can just be friends, and stuck around, you know what you're doing. You're not sticking around because you want to stay friends. You're sticking around because you're doing the long game and waiting for me to give in to be in a relationship with you. And coincidentally, I sadly became prey to the first time falling in love with a douchebag. Anyway, let's continue on. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see it.
3-4 weeks of talking to each other and messaging each other all of the time, like, he ended up telling me that he really felt like he liked me a lot, and I told him that I think that I like him too. Obviously, like, I didn't tell him that I loved him because I knew he probably wouldn't understand, or that it would be a lot, because I'm not crazy, okay? Like, you can't just tell somebody, like, I love you when you first start talking. Like, that's a lot. And I was aware of that, and I was aware that like my understanding of my sexuality, and I soon came to learn I was very romantic at that point, would be a lot for a person who didn't understand. And so I didn't tell him that I loved him, I just told him that I think that I like you. After a few weeks after that, I was having a really hard time because at the time I was dealing with a lot of family issues and a lot of family trauma, and as a result, like, because I felt so close to him, I ended up sharing those things with him, and I was reaching a point where I started to push people away, and I essentially told him that I thought that I don't think that we should talk anymore, I don't think that I am in any headspace to be with a person, and I also don't think that I am good for you. Then at that moment he said he loved me. And he told me not to run away, not to feel these feelings of needing to escape. And so once he said he loved me, I was in complete shock because all of the other feelings I was feeling kind of disappeared, because I realized, like, oh, I'm not the only one feeling this way. He loves me too. And then all of my other feelings kind of disappeared because they weren't as important as what was happening in the moment. The fact that this person that I loved told me they loved me back, and that was incredible. And now that I look back on it, it's a little bit awful timing and a little bit manipulative, because in the moment where I was telling him like I didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, he told me he loved me. And that's not exactly the healthiest thing to be doing, and I should have seen the signs. We never really went on any dates. I never really met up with him at all. He always told me he was too busy and he didn't want anybody to know that we were dating. Like, he wanted to keep it a quote-unquote private relationship, which it wasn't. It was literally a secret. I would get really upset because I would see him hanging out with his friends or hanging out with other people, including girls that he claimed to be his friends, and I would genuinely get pretty upset because I felt like if I'm in a relationship with you and you told me that you love me, I would like to be known. I would like to feel like I'm appreciated. Like, we can have like a private relationship where people don't need to know that it's me, but I would like people to know that you are in a relationship where I wouldn't have to worry all of the time that you were doing something behind my back. Which ironically, later on I found out he was. But that's fine. Several months later, I think it was like 3 months, our relationship only lasted for 3 months, and he ended up telling me that he felt like we shouldn't be in a relationship anymore because he felt that I had too many psychological issues and mental health problems that I needed to get a therapist instead of dating him, which those are not on the same level, sir. I can get a therapist and we can still be in a relationship. But essentially what I was hearing was that he didn't want to deal with me and he felt like I was too much. And it just felt like really heartbreaking to feel like the person that you are in love with and has told you that they love you come out and tell you that you have too many problems. And he also told me in the exact same sentence, while he was breaking up with me, he was too physically attracted to me and more physically attracted to me than emotionally. How did you say that when you said that you loved me? You said that. I didn't tell you to say that. You said that. And you said that when I was telling you I wanted to break up with you. And I wanted to break up with you to help you because I felt like I was too much. And now you're telling me that I am. Anyway, I cried about it and I was really upset about it for a little while. Well, that's not true. I got over it in a day. And here's the reality of the situation, guys. I was going through so much in my life that I genuinely felt like this means nothing. The truth is this is not important. Like, everything else in my life felt so big and so heavy that this breakup meant literally nothing. And that's not to be petty against him, because he's an asshole, but because it's true. My best friend at the time tried to call me and comfort me and was like, oh, like, we should do like a little like sleepover together so I can watch you, make sure that you're okay, make sure you don't call him, etc. And I was like, maybe, like, I'm really sad about it, and I was like, maybe just give me some time and I will think about it and then I'll let you know how I'm feeling, and then maybe we could figure something out to help me, you know, get over it. But I remember this. I laid in bed by myself and I talked to myself and I told myself that, hey, I'm really sad and I genuinely loved him. And maybe he didn't see that. Maybe he didn't love me. and he just said that, so then I would stick around. Which is probably true, but obviously, like, I can't read his mind. I don't know. But the reality of the situation is that I'm going through way more in my life, and I am way more important in my life than he has ever been in my life. I am the top priority. He's not. Him telling me I have too many psychological problems or I have too many mental health problems, that's crazy. That's rude. That's mean. That's a horrible thing to say to anybody. And at the end of the day, it is not my loss. It's his loss, because I can be better and I will be better. And after that, ironically, all of his friends started to hit me up and want to, like, do stuff with me and you know, hang out with me and hook up with me and stuff, which I didn't do in high school. I never did any of that stuff, but I thought it was funny because, like, he genuinely lost something that he didn't realize he had, and his trash of a breakup is his problem. Also, he didn't break up with me in person. He broke up with me through text, and then he blocked me. And then I found out later that he was cheating on me. So, you know, wasn't much of a loss. I actually was just like, well, you know what? It's not my problem. I was lucky enough to get the experience of falling in love. And I always tell myself that every day, that I'm just glad that I got to know what it feels like to be in love. And then I met my boyfriend several years later. And I'm very happy about it. When I went to college, another fun story. And this person, we're gonna give her a little code name, okay? We're gonna call her Cheetah, okay? Because she wears a lot of cheetah print, and I don't know why. She wears the exact same cheetah sweater over and over and over again. I met her freshman year of college, and we were pretty nice to each other. We, like, hit it off pretty well. And when she met me, she really liked me. So I was like, okay, well, let's be friends. Because obviously, like, freshman year, you want to make as many friends as possible because you don't want to be alone. And that's also the time where you start to form your little friend groups and stuff. And so we started to hang out a lot. And on the first few days, like, we hung out a lot, and we went to, like, the little school freshman events to, like, allow you to make new friends and stuff like that. I went with her. There was a specific one that she wanted to go to, but none of our other friends wanted to go, and she also didn't want to go alone. So she asked me to go with her. So I ended up going. When we walked in, there was this guy over there standing, and he's, like, super tall, like, very, very tall, okay? And she was like, oh my god, look. And I was like, okay. I personally did not find him that attractive, but that's just a me thing. He's just a tall white boy. And she has notoriously told me that she really likes tall white men. And I was like, okay, cool. And then she was like, he's so hot, like, I really like him, like, should I go talk to him? I was like, yeah, just go talk to him. If you like him, just ask him for his number or ask him for his Instagram. Like, it's not that weird, just ask him. So she was like, oh, I don't want to go by myself, like, I'm scared, like, what if he says no, like, blah, blah, blah. So as a good friend, I was like, okay, let's go together, I'll go with you, so it's less nerve-wracking, let's just do it together. And she was like, okay, let's do it together. So we ended up going over there to talk to him. And this man, I kid you not, he is so tall that my head reaches, like, his stomach, like the end of his ribs. Like, I was like, he was like, oh, what's your names? Like, the music was really loud at this event, so we couldn't really hear each other. And Cheetah she's pretty tall. She's, like, taller than me. So she, like, reached his shoulder. And so she was like, hey, like, my name is Cheetah, and what's your name? And he was like, my name's blah, 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 blah. He looked at me, he was like, what's your name? And I was like, my name is Natalie. Like, I was screaming into the void because he's so tall. My name is Natalie. He was like, what? What's your name? And I was like, Natalie, my name's Natalie. What's your name? He was like, my name's and I was like, what? I can't hear you. Okay. And then they exchanged Instagrams, right? And I was like, okay, cool. And then we went back to our dorm rooms, and I added him as well because, like, I met him as well, and he added me back. And Cheetah was in her room. She lived in a different dorm than I did, but she was in her room, and she was, like, texting me, like, as she was stalking his Instagram. She, like, screenshotted his Instagram, sent it to me, like, you know how girls do. She just sent me pictures, and she's like, oh my god, he's so hot, like, he has abs, like, he's so sexy. And then I am on my Snap. So, like, on my Snapchat at the time, I don't have Snapchat anymore, but at the time, I would just snap a whole bunch of people at the same time. And since, like, I just met a whole bunch of people at this event, I just snapped everybody. And he sent me a snap back, and he was like, you're really cute. Okay. So I was very honest with my friend because I've never been in this instance before, because before college I was considered to not be attractive
by everybody in my high school. So when I got here in this situation, I was like, I don't know what to do. And my belief is that if there is something that is happening, I will always be honest with my friends, and my friends always come first. And I expect the same back. I expect my friends to be very honest with me and tell me the truth. That didn't happen. I told my friend, I was like, hey, like, I want to tell you something, like, please don't be upset at me, and let me know what you want me to do. I will do whatever you ask me to do. But this guy that you really like, this slinky ass white boy, he just told me that he thinks I'm cute. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to respond positively? Do you want me to tell him that you like him? Do you want me to back off and not talk to him anymore? Like, what do you want from me? Okay. And also, at this time, I already told her that I was great romantic. I don't have crushes on people. Like, I can't like this guy, even if I tried. Like, I don't like him. But I can be sexually attracted to people. So I told her, I was honest with her. I was like, I want to experiment sexually now that I'm in college. You say that it's okay, and you say that you don't mind. I think I might go forward with this. And I was honest with her. I was like, if you don't want me to do it, I won't. Just tell me what you want.
I also was very clear with her in telling her that it doesn't have to be this person, but in general, I had a conversation with her prior that this is something that I wanted to do and see what it is that I like, and to test the waters a little bit to see whether or not I really do identify as asexual or not. And so in this instance, when I told her that he had approached me, he did say I was cute through Snapchat. He also enacted a possibility to only want a physical relationship, not a romantic relationship. I was very honest with her, and I asked her her opinion and what it is that she would want me to do, and that I would only do anything depending on what she said. And I also told her, like, I made very clear that it doesn't have to be this guy. Like, I'm not saying that I want him. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying that in general, what I had told her prior was that I wanted to, in general, experiment with my sexuality in terms of being asexual or not. And she, I guess, didn't really hear what I was saying, or she didn't really, she wasn't honest with me, and she wasn't straightforward with me, and instead she chose to be courteous, and that's not something that I prefer. And I had very much told her at the beginning of our relationship, like, I'm a very straightforward, honest person. If I'm telling you that I'm your friend and I put you first, I always will. And as a result, I expect that if I'm honest with you, you can be honest back with me. Because if I wasn't an honest person, I could have easily just done something with him already and not told you that he hit on me or he wanted to do things with me. Like, I could have been that person, but I'm not. I wanted to prioritize your feelings and how you felt. And I also had never been in a situation like this before, and I had told her that too, that this is not something that has happened to me before, so I don't know how to deal with the situation. And I genuinely was asking her for what she wanted me to do, because I thought that was the right thing to do, to be communicative and ask her.
And also, if you want me to vouch for you, if you want me to tell him that you like him, or like I help hype you up, I'll do it for you. Like, I'll be your friend. Like, I'll stand up for you. And she said to me that she thought that I should just go for it. And she said, it's okay, I don't mind, just go for it. Like, he likes you, it's okay. I was like, okay, cool. And I took her for her word. Yeah, we became friends with benefits, and she still was friends with me, I suppose. Like, we still hung out and we still seemed fine. But then later on, I found out that she was talking behind my back to all my friends, and the reason why they stopped talking to me and stopped, like, wanting to hang out with me, and they started hanging out with just her and by themselves, like, was because Cheetah was talking behind my back and telling all my friends that I was a thing that is like a rake, but not a rake. Yeah, I know you guys know what I'm saying. But she was saying that about me behind my back to everybody, even people I wasn't even friends with. And as a result, I ended up not having any friends anymore soon after. And I don't think that I did anything wrong. And my friends at the time, the ones who stuck by me, told me I also didn't do anything wrong, because I was very honest with her. Like, I told her the truth. I told her that he liked me. Like,
all this stuff, but I found out that she was saying all these things about me behind my back, and it genuinely hurt my feelings. And she also was saying that the only reason why he liked me was because I was a small Asian girl, and white guys always go for small Asian girls. She was saying also like that he was being racist. No girl, you just didn't shoot your shot. And also I asked you, I could have helped you. Like, I asked to help you and you didn't, you told me not to. So I didn't. Now she kind of like, whenever I see her, she acts all fake and she's like, oh, like, how are you doing? Your dress is super cute. I never confronted her about it, which maybe I should have, but I didn't feel the need to, because like, to me, it's kind of like, that's not my problem. The reality of the situation is that you knew what you were doing and we can't be friends anymore. Also, Cheetah, like, at the time would always like badmouth me and say like I was trying too hard, I was always doing too much, like I always worried about what people thought about me, which honestly is not true. I don't do that at all. I do things because I want to, I post things because I want to, I do all of this stuff because it makes me have joy. I did not appreciate that, but it wasn't my problem, because I realized like the only reason why she would say any of that stuff is because she's insecure. I did an outfit of a day, OOTD every day on my Snapchat story when I had Snapchat, and she would say stuff about that like behind my back, and I found out that she was saying stuff about me behind my back about it, and shortly after I also saw that she would do it too, and she started doing it every day as well. Girl, you ain't no cheetah, you're a copycat, okay? Stay in your lane, stay in your breed, girly pop. Stop being friends with her, and we had classes together sometimes, but I just ignore her because, let's be real, we don't need that in our lives. Another fun story is that when I did have friends with benefits, there was this one guy who I spent a lot of my time with. We were friends with benefits for a while, and he actually proposed to me at some point, which I said no to because I met my boyfriend, and also, excuse me, I have no feelings for you, sir. But anyway, after I got into a relationship with my now boyfriend, he reached out to me and he kept trying to get me to cheat on my boyfriend. Who raised you? Who told you that was okay? Anyway, I told him that he was being creepy, and he reached out to me multiple times, tried to call me at midnight a lot, and I told him that I couldn't be friends with him anymore if he was still being weird. And one of my rules for being friends with benefits was that I need to make sure that we're friends first before anything else. And also, if you end up catching feelings, we're done. If I end up catching feelings, I'll let you know and we're done. Like, we will always be friends no matter what. And this is one of the instances where I could not be friends with this person anymore because he was being creepy and he didn't respect my boundaries as someone who is now in a relationship, who now is very happy in my life. And all of my other friends with benefits, like, they were very understanding, they were very kind, they understood, and they like were supportive. They were like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, like, this must mean a lot for you because like you don't get feelings for people like that, like, I'm really happy for you. And obviously this relationship works because I love him, okay? I love him and I will not abandon him like that. I will not cheat on him for something that I know is not better. And you think that I'll cheat with you? What makes you think you're special? Anyway, I blocked him because I told him he was creepy. And then after a few months, like, I didn't hear anything from him. And then a few semesters ago, I actually had class with him. And I had class with him and his new girlfriend. Yeah, his new girlfriend. And I sat on one side of the room and I saw him on the corner of my eye sit on the opposite side of the room next to my friend. And I saw my friend, I didn't realize she was in the class with me, so I messaged her. I was like, hey, like, I see you, we're in the same class, like, I'm on the other side of the room. And I look over, I'm waving at you. And I start waving. And he, of course, is already looking at me, and he waves back. And then I see her wave at me, and I was like, ha, and I text her, and I was like, I'm so happy we have class together, like, we haven't had class together in a while, like, this is super cool, I'm so excited. And I, like, look away, because I was like, I'm not looking at you. Nobody's looking at you. Keep your eyes on your girlfriend, okay? And then he realized I was waving at my friend, and then he continued to talk to his girlfriend. after class, like, I was walking out with my friend and we were talking and stuff about like our break and how we are doing and how our other classes have been. And I see him and his girlfriend in front of me, and they're walking who knows where. They're walking side by side right here, like right like this, right? And he like looks back and he glimpses and he sees me behind him. And then, I kid you not, this man grabs her ass in front of my face because he saw me. And then she giggled because she thought that, you know, it was for her. But girl, it was not for you. And I was like, ugh, no, that's not for me. And then I walked away gagging. That, like, why, bro? Why?
I have so many funny stories of like interactions with him or his girlfriend just walking in the hallway, but eventually I kind of just stopped seeing them. I could totally share more stories about him, but because of, you know, time and not wanting the video to be too long, I'm not going to. But let's just say there was one time he saw me and he literally stood in a corner and stared at a corner while he was waiting for me to get out an elevator. So that took a while, and he just stood there like a sim stuck in the corner.
I needed to update my LinkedIn for one of my classes. So I started to add more to my LinkedIn and getting more active on my LinkedIn. And I noticed that I got a message one day. And I look at the message and I open it up. Can you guess who it is? This man messaged me on LinkedIn. He messaged me on LinkedIn asking me, how are you doing? Can you leave me alone? Like, I obviously and clearly have shown you that I don't want to interact with you. I don't want to have any communication with you, and yet you're still trying to talk to me. I didn't know how to block people on LinkedIn at the time, so I had to ask my boyfriend to help me block him. Also, my boyfriend knows about this guy, okay? Like, I tell my boyfriend every time I see him, because I'm like, ugh, why is he here? Why is he doing this? Go away. And then a few months later, I get another message, but not on LinkedIn, on my nail account, my Instagram nail account. And I was like, and in his message he was like, what did I do wrong? Please talk to me. How are you doing? And then I block him again on that account. And then I was fine for a few more months. And then I see another message, but not on LinkedIn, not on Instagram, not on my main account Instagram, not on my nail account Instagram, not on YouTube, nothing. But on Pinterest. Guys, could you explain to me who on this planet Earth who is right-minded would get blocked on Instagram, get blocked on LinkedIn, get blocked on Instagram again, and still try and message on Pinterest? That's crazy. How desperate do you have to be messaging someone on Pinterest, guys? That's crazy. I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit while I do this eye. Also, obviously, like, I can do a part 2 of this video, guys. I have like a lot of stories that I haven't told yet. Like, I have a story about a Canadian singer. I have a story about a guy that I knew in high school who tried to fly out to me. I have a story about one of my old best friends wanting to do stuff with me. Like, I have a lot of funny stories. And then also, let me think. Oh, here's another story that's more recent, actually, and a little bit scary. So if you guys are a little bit less into like scary stalker stories, you may not want to listen to this, but here's a stalker story for you. So last semester I had a class that I really wanted to enjoy, but I had a class with this girl. We had a lecture and a lab together, so it's like a combo type of deal. Like, the class comes with a lecture, you have to take both. And so we had lecture, we didn't talk to each other, we sat pretty far away from each other, and then we had lab. And in lab, she asked me if she could be my partner, and because I don't know her very well and I also didn't know anybody else in the class, I couldn't just be like, no. Like, nobody else asked me, so I was just like, yeah, sure, we can be lab partners, why not? Great mistake. When we got into lab and we were looking at our protocol stuff and learning how to set everything up, she laid on my shoulder. She put her head on my shoulder. Like, I was sitting on my computer. She didn't bring her computer. So I was sitting on my computer and I was like, oh yeah, we can look at it on mine. And she's like, okay. And she put her head on my shoulder. And I being someone who doesn't like physical touch, I don't like being touched by people unless it's my boyfriend, I immediately was like, I was shocked because nobody does that, okay? Nobody just puts their head on your shoulder, okay? I was in full shock. I texted my best friend and I was like, I'll just be like, okay, we can share on my computer. That's fine, whatever. A few minutes later, I feel her feet touch mine. And then she started playing footsie with my feet. I moved my feet and I was like, I'm sorry, I like my personal space. I'm not scooching away because like I'm trying to be rude or anything like that. I like my personal space, so I scooch away. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to. It was an accident that you put your head on my shoulder. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move on, whatever. After that, a few classes later, we kept having lab together because like obviously she wanted to be lab partners. And this girl, let's give her a nickname because I'll probably talk to her about her again because I only have so many stories I could share in this one video. But a few like classes later, she started to follow me outside of class and she like lingered because like I like to stay like and take my time and get out of there like leisurely, and also because I was trying to avoid her, I'd always wait and leave class like later. And one day she actually genuinely lingered and stayed and waited for me, and I asked, like, I would talk to the teacher and stuff, I would ask him questions, and she would interject in my conversation and talk over me. You're not the one who's asking questions, girly pop, I am. I'm the one who asked to talk to him. I'm the one who wanted to talk to him. Why are you in my business and trying to listen in what I'm talking to him about? I'm annoyed, whatever. And then she followed me when we left class and she sat with me. She asked me questions about me and I didn't really answer. I just kind of gave her like broad answers. I was like, yeah, I live in the city. Yeah, I'm a biology major. And then she started to tell me stuff about her. She would tell me that like she lives right now currently with some grown-ass men that she doesn't know and she never met, but she lives with them and she thinks that they're cool. And I was like, concerning, but okay, whatever, not my problem. And then she told me the reason why she lives there is because she used to live with her partner, and she said that she broke up with her partner because her partner stopped going on her meds. And I was like, okay, TMI, I don't know you that well. I don't need to know all of these details, but okay. And then I always wear, I didn't even know it was called this until she brought it up to me, but I always wear a carabiner, like to clip my keys on my pants. But I didn't know that there is a lesbian lingo, and if you guys don't know this, I will educate you because I need to learn this from my best friend. There's lingo for carabiners for lesbians, and I didn't know this. And she asked me, she was like, do you put your carabiner on your left side because of the lesbian code? What? Okay, no, I put it on my left side because I have OCD and I have to have it on my left side. I always have my wallet on my left, my phone on my right, and then my keys on my left. I just always have to. If it's on the other side, it bothers me. I can't do it on the other side. Arlene was like, oh, well, I wear mine on my right side. I didn't understand what that meant, so I texted my best friend. I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I feel like weird and wrong, and I don't know how to qualify this. I just feel very wronged and disgusting. And I was like, she asked me this, what does this mean? And my best friend was like, that means she asked you if you're a top or a bottom. And she just told you she's a bottom. And she looked at you like that. Girl, I don't like you. I have a boyfriend. And also, I have been with women, but you are not my type. You are creepy, you touched me without my consent, and fuck you. Fuck off. And then after that, I just got really uncomfortable because I was like, I didn't know what it meant, and I felt so violated because the conversation prior had nothing to do with that. Like, you just asked me out of the blue if I was a top or a bottom, and then confessed to me you were a bottom, and then looked at me like this. Anyway, after that, she started to follow me a lot more outside of class, which was really disturbing. She would just kind of linger around the areas I would hang out. If she saw me, she would just linger on the opposite side of the room, just standing there. She wouldn't even sit down on any of the couches or the chairs in the areas that I normally hang out in. She would just stand. And I thought that, you know, after that semester, after we didn't have class together anymore, I shouldn't have to worry about it, right? Because I won't see her anymore. I don't have a reason to see her anymore. I'm not going to. And she messaged me and she asked me if I wanted to exchange Christmas gifts, and I blocked her. I was very proud of myself. And they were very proud of me too, because as I deserve, okay? The start of the semester, the first week of school, I didn't see her once. There should be no overlap. And the first week of school, I didn't see her at all. So I assumed like she's probably not in any of the areas that I'm in. And then the second week, I saw her 3 times. A few days later, I was sitting by myself waiting for class at a different spot, waiting for a different class. And then I'm just sitting on my phone, and then I notice somebody is laying next to me. Like, they just lay down next to me, and I look over, and she's laying so close to me, her head is about to touch my lap. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And I stood up and I left. And I went to a different spot to wait for my class. And then I texted my best friend, and they were like, oh, I'm coming. Because my best friend, bless their soul, has been watching out for me, okay? They came to hang out with me, and they also went to go check if Arlene was still there, and Arlene was still there waiting. And then I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I'm just upset, I'm annoyed. I'm gonna file a report about this, I've decided. Because I've been holding off until this point because I thought, you know, I'm probably not gonna see her ever again. It doesn't matter, it's not my problem. I don't wanna like make a big deal out of it, it's fine. But she's straight up waiting for me and almost laid on my lap. It's time. So I then started walking back to class, and I looked and she was still there, and I was like, whatever, fine, I'm just gonna get into class. I went into class, and then my best friend still had a time between their classes, so they went to go get some food, and then they came back, and Arlene was still laying there, and then they sat in that area to watch Arlene, and then Arlene left because Arlene saw my best friend. Arlene left, and then a few minutes later, Arlene came back to sit on a couch that was directly outside of my classroom. And my best friend texted me and told me, Arlene is waiting for you directly outside your room. And I was so scared, guys. It's not like I can't fight for myself, okay? If this bitch tries to do anything, fuck her, karate chopping that bitch. But I was still scared. There's somebody following me and trying to hang out with me when I clearly have showed you I don't want to talk to you. Also, during the class, when we had class together, I was not nice to her. I was very direct with her and told her that I felt like she was rude and very, very, very mean. And also, she was breaking my boundaries. I even told her that she was causing me to have issues with wanting to even go to class, that eventually, literally the last third of the class, I didn't go anymore. Like, I told her, I was very direct with her, I don't like you. I have a problem with the way you treat me, and I have the problem with the way that you interact with me. I need you to stop. And she's still waiting for me outside of my classroom. And so, thankfully, one of my other friends that I had class with, he knows all of these resources. So I asked him, I was like, hey, like, I need to file a report, and I've never done this before. I don't know who to ask, and I can't find it by myself. So I was wondering, do you know how to file a report on somebody that is causing you sexual harassment or stalking you? And he was like, yes, got you. And he sent it to me. I saw her again, and she knows where my classes are now, which is crazy. But yeah, because like these bitches are messaging me on Pinterest and LinkedIn and following me outside my classes. Like, what did I do? I have more stories, by the way, but this is actually the final look. So I actually don't think I will be sharing any more today. But if you guys would like to know more stories, like little fun stories, I have a whole bunch. Obviously, like, I have more about Arlene, and I can let you guys know like the update on the report and how that works. But yeah, if you guys want to hear more stories from me about this type of stuff, I can definitely share, or my advice, any of that stuff, because I have a lot of advice on stuff like that. Also, I have a lot of advice in terms of relationships with friends, with family, with boyfriends, girlfriends. Like, I have a lot of experience under my belt, so as a person who is on the internet and also trying to talk to you guys about my experiences and trying to help you, I'd love to share and love to help with anything that you want any help with. So yeah, I hope I get to see you guys next time. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, thank you for watching. Good morning, good night, goodbye, and I hope you guys have a wonderful